Guys, after subscribing to this channel, please make sure that you also press the bell icon so that no notification, no new video of mine, any educational video, is missed by anybody.
So I welcome one and all in this class today. I'm sorry for delaying and changing the time. I understand that it's a busy Sunday morning for everybody. People like to do those chores which they usually don't, and I'm sure the exams are on your head. So this is mostly a study timetable. But just give me 1 hour and I'll make it worthwhile for you. So when it comes to precocious puberty, as I was telling you in the introduction, I used to run away from this topic. The reason being it was very complicated. I tried to figure it out how to do this, but then the whole burden of doing other topics which are far more comfortable, easy to remember, easy to learn, require more practice and ask more often. That used to kind of overcloud the precocious puberty part, and which is why this kept delaying, and I used to avoid it. But precocious puberty, in a very normal layman term, is a puberty occurring before time. As simple as that. Now, to be more technical, yeah, it's secondary sexual characteristics which are, which develop in the female before the age of 8 years. Mostly that is a definition. This precocious puberty I'm taking from a TOG article, which is beautifully told about central and peripheral precocious puberty. So what are the causes have been divided into two. So it's either central causes or peripheral causes. This is the introduction which I was telling you about. Secondary sexual characters before the age of 8 years. All right. And here is what I was trying to tell you. Sometimes it happens because of maturation of HQ axis, sometimes the appearance of secondary sexual characteristics, acceleration of growth, that means the height velocity, suddenly increases the growth spot, and finally the capacity of fertility. All these things, they happen at the time of puberty, correct? Now, this is the timing of the puberty, which is not so important, but this is very important. We just discussed the timing of the puberty, but this is actually the whole chapter will be around this particular part. That means I'll be telling you about central, peripheral, and isolated. Are you with me so far, guys? Any question, please let me know. Thank you, Meghna, for letting me know this. Otherwise, the whole recording would have gone without slides. All right, let's move further. So if you have any doubt, please stop me. I do not want you guys not to have the concept after an hour of the long class. Please, and go with me as I make you go forward. And if you're not able to understand, please ask me the question there and then, right? Now, like I said, the causes of central precocious puberty, that means I'm talking about the HPO axis. All right. Central mostly means GNR is dependent, right? So either I'm talking about certain things to do with the hypothalamus, pituitary. All right. So ovaries become peripheral. Central means I'm talking about the main GnRH components. That means it's either the tumor in the hypothalamus, tumor in the pituitary, tumor in the brain, or something to do with that itself. Right. So central precocious puberty, that means the one which is affecting the HP and then finally O axis, is mostly idiopathic. I would rather add over here, it's in the same TOG article, 74%. They say is idiopathic, that high. So you have to ask her whether this happened in your family before. You had other relatives also with this kind of an effect. That means everybody in your family has precocious characteristics development, or it happened after a particular time. Then you have the certain central nervous system pathology. Like for example, she has some tumors, that means astrocytoma, gliomas, hematomas, craniopharyngiomas, all these things, right? Or she had some congenital problems like hydrocephalus, meningomyelocele, all these neural tube defects. Or she has some acquired problems like radiotherapy, trauma, infection, okay, or inflammation. So meningitis, cephalitis, all these, and chemotherapy, radiotherapy, injury and infection. Remember when we used to talk about primary amenorrhea, I told you trauma, tumor, and infection. Remember this TTI, trauma, tumor, infection. Mostly there you have to speak about the central causes. Remember to speak about this trauma, tumor, infection. So she had some head trauma, she had some head injury, she had some inflammation, or she had some tumor. All these conditions will lead to primary amenorrhea or precocious puberty, both spectrums. Just imagine, either she can have heavy and high, this development of pubertal changes, she can have none. Mind can go anyway, but you have to remember these certain causes, right? Then peripheral precocious puberty. Now see, ovarian causes, adrenal causes, exogenous sex hormones, you cannot forget these 2-3 things. And then severe long-standing hypothyroidism is a thing to remember. These things have to be ratified, guys. Okay, so we just spoke about the causes of central precocious puberty. I'll just mark it in another color. And then you have peripheral precocious puberty, right? Remember this. Now we're talking about what could be the probable peripheral causes. So periphery, what do we have? We have ovary, we have adrenals, we have hypothyroidism. So long-standing hypothyroidism, long-standing adrenal causes, ovarian causes can lead to precocious development of secondary sexual characteristics. For example, if I have ovarian, let's say granulosa cell secreting tumor or androgen secreting sertolating cell tumor, these are all actually estrogen producing or androgen producing. So she can have pubak, she can have thilak, and she can also have, a mixture of the two conditions. Correct? So you have estrogen causing, estrogen secreting, and you have androgen secreting ovarian causes. Then adrenal causes are mostly androgen secreting. So be it congenital adrenal hyperplasia, Cushing syndrome, any neoplasm of the adrenals, you will have androgens being secreted. Correct? And then comes the exogenous sex hormones, like she's taking oral OCPs from outside or anabolic steroids from outside, or she's taking certain skin creams, excessive consumption of cosmetics. That is also linked with precocious puberty. Then there's something called as McCune-Albright syndrome. Just remember this word because it's going to come again. Okay, McCune-Albright syndrome is a syndrome in which you have that classic triad, the polyostitis fibrosa. Then you have those cafe au lait spots, and you have, of course, this precocious puberty condition. So you have excessive cortisol in the body, because of which you have this entire spectrum of diseases around you. Pigmentation, yes. So you have severe long-standing hypothyroidism as the last cause of peripheral precocious puberty causes. So you have adrenals, ovary, thyroid, and then one McCune-Albright syndrome. Remember these 4. Then you have variants of normal puberty. That means either you have premature, see, I'm writing down variants. So variants means I'm talking about either thilak or minak or just 2 together, pubak, adrenak, but not mina. Are you with me so far, guys? Anything you want to ask right now, please ask, because I don't want you to go ahead with no concept and then get confused later on. So are you clear that my entire lecture is going to be revolving around central causes and peripheral causes? Even the history, examination, investigation, treatment will be very different for central causes, very different for peripheral causes. Peripheral causes we know: ovarian tumors, adrenal tumors, McCune-Albright syndrome, long-standing hypothyroidism. It will be individually treating these things. But when it comes to central precocious puberty, that is what the examiners like to ask and know. Not only that, they would want to know how you treat. So just gonadotropins is not sufficient. It's properly given. You don't have to remember the doses, but you do have to remember how to give or what all preparations are there available in the market.